excited that you are here with us and having this conversation. We are the Legacy Ladies. I am Truest Wells.
And I am Erica Fernandez.
And we are Beyond Legacy, where we talk about all things legacy, where we want to educate, empower, inspire, and build community around just safe conversations about what legacy is, more than just monetary, but the impact that never dies. And the impact is you.
Yes, you are that impact, and we have various topics that we bring to you regarding legacy. And today we have a wonderful lady that we're going to bring on the screen here, and she's with us to talk about what she does in business and really the brand of you. And so I want to introduce to you, and then maybe reintroduce to others, Chanel Brown, Coach Shawnee.
Coach
Shawnee, it's Coach Shawnee time. And so welcome to the show, Sean. And why don't you give me a brief introduction of you and your background, and just tell us who you are.
Absolutely. Well, my name is Chanel Brown, aka Coach Shawnee, or Coach Shawnee, aka Chanel Brown. Whatever's most comfortable for you is what I always say. I am the CEO and founder of SLB Global. I am also a brand strategist. One of my products is called Making Your Brand. Making Your Brand focuses on helping you, one, discover your brand, and then two, develop, design, and direct it.
Yes.
That's what I do. And the reason that I feel like making your brand is one of the most important aspects of what I do is because our world requires the authentic versions of each one of us.
Most
and
certainly.
when we don't live as our authentic self, the ecosystem that is our world is off kilter. So making your brand is vital to the success of our world.
Yes. Right. So when you talk about making your brand, like how the average person, when I think of brandings, I'm automatically thinking of businesses, entrepreneurship, and all of those things. But maybe not everybody is in that world of that. So is making your brand only about a business, only about, the entrepreneurship world, or is it everybody in who we present to the world?
Everybody's a brand. And let me take a Bible for you real quick. I'm gonna take a Bible.
Yeah.
The Lord said, I knew you before I formed you in the womb of your mother. That's a brand.
Yes.
He created it, he saw it, and then he designed it for a purpose. Each person is a brand that was created for this earth to bear fruit. Now, as a brand strategist, I help you maybe develop your business, but as a coach, I help you develop you. So then you can do whatever you were created to do. But without the development of the real you, then what are you doing? I say this always. If you are not working at being the real you, then you're working at finding new ways to settle.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow. It's almost like when I hear being authentically you, I almost hear imposter syndrome.
Oh, absolutely.
I almost hear like, how do I know I'm being authentically me? Because sometimes we feel like we're showing up in the world as authentically, like I'm just this person and this. But at some point, am I masking something else inside me? Do I not want to present myself wholly in this thing? Or I may feel God telling me to do something, but I don't think I'm really an adequate person or capable of doing that thing. All of those kind of angst that comes up within us that goes, maybe I'm being an imposter. Maybe I thought I was authentically showing up in me. I feel like I'm authentically being me, but I don't know.
I think when she brought it Bible, I think if we exegete that scripture, and I think that's what the brand of you is, when you start to recognize, or we have to get to the place where we come to accept that he created you before you knew you, before your mom knew you, and that you are a brand. When we begin to say, I am a brand, besides my creativity, I wholly am a brand. And how do I show up to the world? And how do we bring that? Because that, I think, when you talk imposter syndrome, you talk about showing up as your brand, I think all of the worries of the world put us in imposter syndrome. And we think we can't show up as us because people are not ready for the raw of us, or we have not been groomed and pruned enough to really show up representing the Lord that created us in the you.
Yeah, that's right. So let me help you. How do I know? First of all, let's take it to Jeremiah 29:11. He said, I know the plans I have for you. Yeah. So first it starts with, are you living by the vision for your life that God gave you? What's driving your life? What's making the decisions for how you move? Do you have a mission statement for your life that determines where you will end up? Are you growing and developing every year into the new version of you? Which means that I manage those 7 keys. See, God gave us a life to manage. And that life consists of, how am I managing my life spiritually?
Right.
How am I managing my life emotionally, mentally, physically? See, those first 4 keys, that's all you. So when you do an inventory of those 4 keys, you're going to find out real quick, I'm not doing what I think I'm doing. And see, the first 4 keys will show up in the 5th key, which is relationally. Because what you are in those first 4 keys is what you bring into every relationship. And then it's resourcefully, and then it's your purpose. So realistically, people find out real quick. And anytime I have to squish myself down, or I have something that I want to do, but I think, oh, I don't know what I'm afraid of what people are going to think. That's where you know. I'm afraid to be myself. I'm afraid to be myself.
In going through, working a 9 to 5, and in the field and industry that I'm in, aerospace industry, I am suffering from that, literally, because the real me is very knowledgeable into a world where they're not as knowledgeable. Yet, because I'm the African American female in that environment, then I get the aggressive
stereotype
title versus the assertive. And so I watch how I show up as a real me. And even yesterday, I was having a dialogue, I'm going to call it, with my manager. And I realized that, you're not ready for the real me, or I can't really tell you all of what I know. And you don't even believe all of what I know. So I found myself just going, just be quiet. Just.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So if we look at Jesus, we never at any point in his existence where he does not show up as exactly who he created.
Yeah.
And so when we have to, not even have to, because we never have to.
No, we don't have to.
When we choose to, that forms the basis for imposter syndrome. And if I can get real, that is rooted back in your childhood. There's a belief system. There are weeds, tricks, and traps that were formed in your childhood that are creating these things today. And realistically, what we're seeing in our adult lives is God trying to free us from that. So he's putting us in these same situations over and over again. We get to choose, but a lot of times we won't choose because we're scratching and surviving instead of trusting and believing. So whether it's, I got to keep this job, I got to do this, I got to keep this man, it is fear. false evidence appearing real that keeps us stuck and outside of purpose, which leaves us stuck and outside of our legacy.
I like that. Scratching and surviving versus trusting and believing. Hey, we got a blog right there.
Scratching and surviving.
That is exactly it. Instead of trusting and believing. And trusting first or believing first, either one.
Either way.
And you show up when you believe.
That's right.
And that's so to Erica's example, no matter what the other person is perceiving or going to pursue or ready for, you still have a responsibility to say, I'm giving you all of me.
That's it.
You get to take it or leave it, but I'm giving you all of me so that you know where I come from.
That's
One of my friends said to me in giving her an example too, she said, listen, the Lord's not going to ask you where you valued and whether they like you. He's going to ask you, did you do the right thing? And that's the challenge of the day. I do the right thing. And then, I got to show up as me, showing you, here's the right thing to do. And, so many people do that. And you brought up the fact that when we don't do those things, those first 4 things, or however we do those first 4 things, they show up in relationship, which we're about legacy.
That's
right. That relational thing is the legacy. And so talk to us a bit about that God's created and its effect or its impact on the legacy that they leave.
Well, here's the thing. If I'm pretending and if I'm not showing up as myself, then who's showing up? And what is showing up? And why? Why? Because if I'm afraid, what is it that I'm trying to protect? Right? Again, what's the root? You got to go back to the root. Because I ask people now, I even talk to my husband when there's a problem or when I can see there's an argument that's about to brew. I say this, who am I talking to right now? What age you am I talking to right now?
Wow.
And then what I've learned, and I do it to myself, right? If I'm freaking out or I start to panic, I go, who is this? What age is this? My 9-year-old self, I'm going to tell you, my 9-year-old self, I was raised by a single mom. And in her singleness, she worked 2 jobs and went to school. So a lot of my 9-year-old life, I was alone. I was afraid. I was hungry a lot. I had to start trying to work to make money at 9. And I was trying to figure out how to do life. Those coping mechanisms caused and created chronic constipation, right? Because I couldn't release. There was so much fear. So moving into the 53-year-old me, those areas were not dealt with. I put fig leaves on top of them. I put hair doctor on top of them. I put CEO on top of them. I put a mayor. I put all these things on top of them in an effort to try to cover them up. But in reality, they still show up. So I have to, if I'm going to be authentically me, I have to address the 9-year-old because she never got taken care of. And the adult me has to now reparent that 9-year-old so that the adult me can be free to be authentically me.
Right. So how do you do that though, Sean? How do you recognize, right? Because, you recognize, okay, I'm at this place that I have some traumas and triggers in my life from childhood, from upbringing, from adulthood, from relationships, from whatever that is causing me to show up in an imposter syndrome life. How do I reconcile those traumas and triggers and the little kid me and all of these things? What do I do to reconcile those things so that my legacy moving forward is not trauma filled?
You first have to accept the whole reality. So I have a discipleship community called Walking Warriors. and we say, approach God. And what that acronym stands for is A, accept the whole reality and learn to respond versus react. That is the hardest thing you'll ever do, because you will find out how quickly your reactions are controlling and dictating your life, whether it is what you eat and can't stop doing, relationships you are in that God's called you to put down, but you can't. When you have to say no to someone that you love, but it's a coping mechanism to always say, you'll find out real quick. So when you have to accept the whole reality, the anxiety starts to bubble up, and the right thing, the thing that's going to help you grow versus reacting to what you've always done, you find out real quick. The next P is press into the truth of his word and remain focused. See, the only way to change a behavior is to replace it with the truth. The truth is found in the foundation of God's word. He will send you the word that your coping mechanism is warring against. It is so difficult. So as soon as I accept the whole reality, I now got to press into that truth. I have to press into the truth of his word and remain focused. Then I've got to push into, pray until something happens. It's the development of the communication with God. It is you speaking honestly in prayer and waiting for him to speak back and tell you, talk to you. Then it's rest, recover, and receive. That's the natural position of a child or a bride of Christ. I always say this, how you handle APPR will tell you how successful you'll be at the O, which is overcome and pass the test. When you overcome and pass the test, you'll be able to appreciate the entire journey, the entire story. I call that the full circle of maturity. You appreciate what was done to you, the traumas, the hurtful things. You appreciate what you did that may not have been so favorable to you. And you appreciate God's plan. Then it's the C. And this is where people get really stuck. This C is about crying and releasing. We are living an earthly experience. We're spiritual beings living an earthly experience. And in this earthly experience, it is required that what we take in gets processed and released. Pain, joys get taken in, processed, and released through tears. It is a part of your human makeup. That's why you have tear ducts. And then it's the H, heal. Heal is a decision you make every day. You gotta decide. And once you decide, then you allow God's game plan and treatment plan to bring you into the position of approaching God. So when you do that, you will see, oh, this is where I'm showing up. Oh, this is where I'm telling you that, accept the whole reality. Try it. Just try it.
Come on. I just love the fact that I have to actually go, pause a minute.
Right.
Who are you right now?
Right.
I'm that girl. I don't know who I am. Right. It's like you get to that place like, who am I? And I gotta search me to find that thing that's saying you're showing up as whatever that trauma was at whatever age that was. And then, but it takes someone like Coach Shawnee to really say, I need to walk you through this and show you how you're showing up as that trauma. And then show you then how to approach God. Is that your methodology, or how does that really work?
You know, I'm telling you, as Coach Shawnee, I'm kind of harsh, right? I'm not looking for anybody who doesn't want to be themselves. I get people call me all the time. Help me make a logo. Help me. I don't do that. That's not what I do. I help people really be themselves. So if you're looking for me, you're coming to me and saying, I'm stuck somewhere. So I create grow rooms. I create coaching cohorts. I create opportunities and spaces for people to grow and develop. I'm a growth and development expert. It's what I love. So realistically, thank you, Lord. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. Period.
Let me say, listen, we have given so much knowledge and truth in just a short period of time, but you're going to be at our vision board experience
Yes, I am.
And you're going to be teaching more in depth on the 7 keys, on how to get to approaching God, on how to setting yourself free, on how to stop being imposter, on how to be authentically you, showing up authentically, so that the legacy that you leave, you impart on your kids, on your community, in your families, in your churches, is greater than where you found it. And so I want to tell people, come to our vision board experience. You got to be there because you need more of Coach Shani. You need to have these questions. You need to be in the room.
Right.
You need Coach Shani time.
You're creating the you that God has created. You need to get into that, walk into that, and start walking as that.
Yeah. I'm so excited that you're a part of the vision board experience, because what it does, like Erica just said, it forces us to stop and say, how am I showing up? It forces us to begin the healing process, because I don't think in one experience you're going to be completely free or healed, but it begins the healing process. It begins the awareness. It begins the awareness to be able to go forward and say, okay, I got some more work to do within myself.
It's the awareness. And listen, as long as you are on this side of heaven, you are always growing and developing. If you are not growing and developing, your time is done. The time run off the game clock and the game is over. What did you do? I'm leaving here a champion.
I want to leave a champion too.
Yes, ma'am. So, Sean, give our audience just some final words of why they need to be at the vision board experience.
You need to be at the vision board experience because, one, the connections that you are going to make are incredible. The information that you're going to receive is going to help you make the decisions you need to make in order to have the legacy that you see in your heart. Just because you see it in your heart doesn't mean that you've made the decision to manifest that thing. And then lastly, I'm going to be there.
Of course.
I'm gonna be there.
Coach Shani gonna be there.
It's Coach Shani time. That's why you should be there.
Yes, I love it. We appreciate you. Thank you for being a part of our vision board experience as one of our keynote speakers. I'm excited to partner with you on this experience. We are excited to partner with you on this experience, and thank you for just being there with us.
Yes,
I love y'all. You are my favorite people in the whole wide universe.
We love you too. Well, thank you. Now, listen, if you have not already bought your ticket and registered for the Vision Board Experience, please go to our website, www.iambeyondlegacy.com. Please click on the VBE Experience event and you can register. Buy tickets for your friends and your families. You don't want to miss this event.
You don't want to miss it.
You can also follow us on all of our social medias, Beyond Legacy on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you want to see, whatever is your drug of choice, we are there. So make sure we are there. So make sure you follow, like, subscribe, send, click the notification button, and send this out to all of your friends and family. We appreciate you. Thank you, Sean, for being here with us again.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Until next time.